Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. I'm Angela Green, your public information officer, in for Shonda Knight. And Sheriff, we always talk about the tools in our arsenal to help us fight crime, but we actually have an entire aviation unit that are our eyes in the sky.
Absolutely. We could not do the work we do in Leon County without our aviation unit. In fact, I submit to you that most of our law enforcement agencies in the Big Bend region could not do the top-notch job that we do without an aviation unit.
Because they serve all the surrounding counties.
Absolutely. I mean, there's not probably a day that goes by that our aviation unit isn't in the air doing something to either spot people who are on the run or giving directions to police officers or deputies about what's taking place in a given space that crime perhaps are being committed, or going to another county and providing services to those other counties that obviously crime is not just restricted to Leon County. Some of those criminals come from Bay County and other places into Leon County, and our aviation unit is able to reach into those other spaces and find those people involved in crime. And again, I can't express to our citizens out there how invaluable, I mean, absolutely, we could not do the job we do without our aviation unit.
I know a lot of people have different views about the eyes in the sky perspective, but I was able to go up in the helicopter for our back to school operations for traffic patrol, and just seeing that perspective of how they were able to monitor, like you said, things on the ground. It is not like Big Brother is watching. It just gives a different perspective.
No, if people, if you think about it, in LA and places like that, they have an aviation unit that's over the highways, and it's basically, and that's what we did for school, back to school. We put our aviation unit up and said, let's get an overwatch for all the roadways where the kids are going back to school, and let them then transfer that information to the deputies on the road so they can see and hear exactly what we're seeing from a global perspective about what the crime looks like, what the traffic looks like, and where those cars are traveling. So we didn't have those intersections and perhaps put our people in the right place. And the idea is to try to put resources in the right place, and the aviation unit does that for us tremendously.
And when we talk about recruitment, I know we did feature them in our recruitment ads, and they're always the ones that get the most traction, just because it's such a position that comes with a little bit of mystique with it.
It does. There's a lot to say about helicopters and airplanes and all that, but it gives our people, one of the things we have an advantage over other agencies is that we have career options, and aviation is another career option. You want to be in SWAT, you want to be in investigations, and a lot of people would like to be in an aviation unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely something to dream about if you're a kid and your role in law enforcement. Yes, you can be a pilot with the Sheriff's Office.
Absolutely.
All right, well, coming up next, we are going to talk to one of our LCSO Aviation Unit captains with us and hear more about their role in fighting crime. Stay with us.
Good morning, this is Deputy Gaffin with the Leon County Sheriff Office Traffic Unit, and this is your Crime Tip Tuesday.
In the state of Florida, it is illegal to leave a child unattended in a vehicle. Always make sure to check the back seat before you leave the vehicle. It is better to be safe than sorry. If a trusted individual is dropping your child off for you, have them call you at drop-off so you know everyone made it safely. Do not let your children play near vehicles. They could accidentally lock themselves in. If you see a young child, vulnerable adult, or animal left unattended in a vehicle during these extreme summer temperatures, you should contact emergency services immediately.
And that is your Crime Tip. Have a good day. Remember, all in.
Start your new career as a corrections officer at one of the state's most innovative agencies, the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
When I left the academy, my training never stopped.
Work with state-of-the-art technology.
You can make a lot of money at a very young age.
Starting pay is $50,000 a year with amazing benefits.
Firearms, taser, driving training.
A better work-life balance with more time off.
They're going to sponsor you through the academy and pay you while you're there.
Join the family. Apply today at leoncountysO.com.
Welcome back. Joining us now is LCSO Aviation Captain Lee Majors. Lee, tell the viewers about your illustrious career in the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
Well, it's one of those interesting things how I came about that. I've been with the Sheriff's Office in some form or another for 38 years now.
Wow.
I gave 15 as a reserve deputy before I came to work full time. I've been the commander of your aviation unit for the last 15 years. Interesting thing, you talked about careers getting here. I started in the what is now the auxiliary posse, and then moved into the aviation reserve. So I in essence started as a volunteer civilian and have worked to where I am now.
Lee, you talked about the fact that you've been in aviation. You've seen a lot of changes. Talk about some of the changes we've recently made and how those changes are impacting the way we police in Leon County.
So we're always looking at upgrading equipment and having the latest and greatest thing, and I will have to say that the support you and the agency give us allows us to do that and have the best equipment. In 2020, we got rid of our oldest aircraft, which was 50 years old, and replaced it with a new Bell 505 Jet Ranger. At that time, we were the third law enforcement agency in the world to operate that aircraft. We were the first ones east of the Mississippi River.
Wow.
A lot of agencies now have followed our lead in doing that, and the equipment that we use on our aircraft, we continually upgrade, which allows us to do our job better and safer.
Yeah, Lee, talk about that for a minute, the tools, the things you have that you've expanded, and how are they assisting us, and what are they?
Yeah. So some of the tools are our cameras that are on the aircraft, our high definition cameras, our thermal imagers, let us see at night, night vision goggles. The radio suite in all of our aircraft is the most capable of any vehicle there is. In fact, we can talk to many more people than even dispatch can. And I'd like to speak too to the personnel that we've added to do those things.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's go right into that. Let's talk about the relationship we now have with the City of Tallahassee, the Tallahassee Police Department, and how's that going, and how did it come about?
Right. So as part of our plan to staff 24 hours all the time, I proposed several years ago how we would do that. And the first thing in that step, or in that plan, was to develop an aviation task force with the City of Tallahassee Police Department to provide more manpower. And we did that. You and the chief got together, we got the right people in the right room and had that discussion, and we made it happen. So now the police department has 2 people assigned to us full-time. They are pilots. We use them as tactical flight officers and pilots, which has allowed us that more manpower that we needed to expand that. The other thing we've done in, again, that quest to be 24 hours is we've added more pilots. We've added 2 pilots to the roles and added the maintenance personnel that we need to keep up with that demand.
Now, we've done that with the Tallahassee Police Department. We've done it working with the City of Tallahassee, but I talked earlier about how much we're engaged outside of Leon County. Can you talk a little bit about the other agencies that depend on our aviation unit?
Absolutely, and most people that work for us don't even know everything we do. They know what they hear on the radio or see in press releases every day, but that's a fraction of what we actually do. So you spoke to the surrounding counties that we assist. Not uncommon, the surrounding counties to call, and we'll go there on a moment's notice to help them on anything they need. To that end, through your agreement, your mutual aid agreement with all of the rest of the sheriffs in the state, you can send us wherever we need to go. After a hurricane, for instance, after Michael, we did a lot of work down on the coast down there. But work we do with the DEA, with the HIDTA, the High Intensity Drug Task Force operation, with our North Star Drug Task Force, working with the U.S. Marshal Service. These are all things that nobody hears that goes on in the background.
Well, Lee, I can tell you I am just elated with the work that you and your team are engaged in each and every day. As I said to the audience earlier, we can't get our stuff done without you guys. And that relationship we have with Tallahassee Police Department, with our federal partners, is second to none. And a large part of that goes to your leadership and your team and how you guys are able to, and I know it's been a long time coming from the 50-year-old helicopter to where we are today. But a lot of that, Lee, has to do with your leadership and the way you see these things from a vision perspective, and that's been immensely helpful to me. I just want to thank you for all that leadership you've given us. Thanks, Lee. Don't go anywhere. Still ahead, and on how our aviation unit is used to fight crime. Stay tuned. We're back with LCSO Aviation Captain Lee Majors. What kind of success, Lee, are we having with our aviation unit fighting crime?
So, we're in the day and age where we measure success by statistics. So yes, we can put things on paper with numbers. So a few of those statistics that we gathered in the 2022 fiscal year, we responded to 2,500 calls, which is a pretty good volume for the size of the unit this is right now. During those calls, we assisted with 350 arrests, which is really important. recovered 85 stolen vehicles. And in many cases, we got those back because we were there. And assisted with 100 times when a vehicle fled a traffic stop or we were pursuing a vehicle. Now, let's put a little context into that. We talk about quantitative stats and qualitative. Okay. Those 100 failure to stops are vehicles that we could not pursue. We would not have gotten back that stolen vehicle if the aircraft wasn't there. Or if it actually was a pursuit, having the aircraft overhead allows us to make it a lot safer for the deputies and officers on the ground and the public and the suspect.
Absolutely.
Because we can take control over that and slow the whole situation down.
Yeah, crime fighting is obviously a major, major thing that we have to engage in. But you guys do so much more. And talk about some of the other things you guys are engaged in with aviation.
We do. I like to say we find the bad guys that need to be found and or that don't want to be found, and the good guys that need to be found. Pulling in here today, the guys were being dispatched to an Alzheimer's patient that had walked off. We're very successful at that, especially with the Project Lifesaver program, being able to find those people. I remember one in the winter that some of the guys received an award for was they were responding down into the Wakulla National Wildlife Refuge for some hikers that had gone missing and were having a medical episode. People had been down there looking for hours. They found them from miles away before they ever got there and had them back out of the woods in 30 minutes. That type of thing that, again, it's not law enforcement.
Right.
We call ourselves law enforcement officers, and that's what we do, but we're really public safety. That's what the whole unit's about.
Yeah, we may work on changing that name at some point in the future, perhaps. But let's talk a little bit more, Lee, about more than just crime fighting. A lot of technology we have on the helicopter. But one of the things that we talk about a lot, and we've got some legislation that came out that limits our use of drones. But talk about how are we deploying drones and how effective are we in terms of assisting in fighting crime?
Right. So, everybody's familiar with them and their capabilities now, and some of them are very capable. And across the U.S., a lot of agencies are operating them, and we are too. It's a complementing technology to your manned aircraft. They don't do the same thing, but each of them does their job very well. A prime example was recently we had a SWAT call out where we had a barricaded suspect that had fired some shots in a house. Yeah. Well, the aircraft was actually the first one to that scene of that call. Our manned aircraft set up the perimeter, got everybody safely talked into where they needed to be to contain it, and then they left and relinquished it to the SWAT team, who used an unmanned aircraft to go in the house before they went in and determined what was going on in there. Again, much safer, saves lives doing that.
Absolutely, man. Well, we were talking about tools. One of the things that's an anti-tool from my perspective is lasers being, I guess they're flashed at our helicopters, that sort of thing. Can you talk about that a little bit and let our citizens know why that's such a thing not to do as it relates to our aviation unit?
People don't think anything about it. They've got one and they think it's fun to try to hit the aircraft with it. What they don't realize is how dangerous that is and what the consequences are of that. So imagine you're outside, it's pitch black dark, you've been out there for 2 hours, and somebody flips on the lights or shines a flashlight in your eyes, how that blinds you. Imagine now that's a laser somebody hits you in the eye with. Can cause permanent damage to not only our equipment, but people. And people just do it because they think it's fun. But what they don't realize is, in the state of Florida, that's a felony, just doing that. It's also a federal felony. If somebody gets injured in the state of Florida, it's a second-degree felony. And we've got a case right now from last year that's still in the court system where we had to make an arrest for that very thing.
Wow. Well, Lee, again, I can't express how much we appreciate you and the aviation unit. Do a tremendously great job for the citizens of Leon County. Up next, in our Deputy on Duty, a day in the life of a school resource deputy and the challenges of patrolling a middle school. The tale's coming up. Stay tuned.
At the Florida Sheriff's Association, we are able to serve our sheriffs and Floridians thanks to our member support. The The FSA Member Perks program was created to give back to our members for all that they do. Members enjoy savings on restaurants, vacations, golf courses, car rentals, healthcare, movie tickets, theme parks, online shopping, and more. With over 300,000 offers, you'll always find ways to save. To learn more or to join the Florida Sheriff's Association, visit fsamemberperks.org.
In this week's Deputy on Duty, we introduce you to Leon County Sheriff's Office Deputy Shalonda Scott, a Gadsden County native who truly understands the importance of education.
I grew up in Chattahoochee, Florida, which is a small town outside of Tallahassee. I went to West Gadsden High School, graduated, and then I went to FAMU. I was able to receive a full scholarship to FAMU to receive my bachelor's in criminal justice.
Her journey from earning a full college scholarship to deciding her next steps was a crucial decision, but one that has proven to be the right choice. She's been in law enforcement for almost a decade. Most recently, Scott served as a school resource deputy at NIMS Middle School.
Children are the future. I love kids. They are different in their own particular ways. I felt like working in school resource was a pathway to help the community because they're not the children of tomorrow. They're actually the children of today. So being in school resource, trying to make an impact on the kids, I felt was very helpful.
Being an SRD is a position that is not without its challenges in an era where building trust between law enforcement and communities is paramount. It's also one that goes beyond safeguarding the premises of a school. It's about fostering connections and inspiring the students. To do that, Deputy Scott tells us she starts the day in a very unique way.
I get here and I try to make sure that I have a self-evaluation because I don't want to carry my problems to the school because there are kids here that go through things every day and their problems may be a little bit bigger than mine. So once I get here, I do my daily devotion, I read scriptures, I have to listen to my gospel music just to make sure that I'm on the right path.
And then duty calls with hundreds of students ready to start their own day.
I'm maybe outside the gate sometimes just to make sure the kids are walking across safely. And sometimes I'm inside of the gate, making sure the traffic is flowing. If the parents has any questions or concerns, or maybe something happened the night before and they wanted to let me know, I'm usually there.
As a school resource deputy, the role also includes educating students on vital topics such as drug awareness and conflict resolution. But sometimes there are obstacles that come with bigger challenges.
So we have a lot of students that come that's from outside of the country. And a lot of them do not speak English. And I am known as the Google translator. So I usually take out my phone to make sure that I'm understanding what they're saying, or I may have to get another student that actually speaks the language.
And while that may seem like a simple task, Deputy Scott knows the extra effort goes a long way to making students feel safe and welcomed.
But it's very, very important for me that they feel that this is their home. Because they're in a foreign country with people they don't understand pretty much. So for me to take that time out for her, we may not speak the same language, but we're going to get an understanding at the end.
And being there includes time and work beyond the school walls. Deputy Scott often takes part in local events and workshops aiming to build connections and dispel misconceptions about law enforcement.
Community events are very helpful. Because the kids need to know that you are not just a cop, but you are human as well. And that you just not a RoboCop that's going around patrolling the area, but you can actually have fun. And that's what we did at the Day Community Center. I had a lot of fun with the kids. Everyone knows I like to dance. So I was dancing with the kids. You know, some of the girls were trying to teach me some routines. But just humanizing the bad.
Those interactions are truly important when it comes to gaining the trust needed to being a successful school resource deputy, whether it's their presence at a school football game or at the end of the year graduation. Deputy Scott says she is confident her students know she will always be by their sides.
It's unfortunate, but sometimes you're the only person that shows up for that student. And for them to see you, it makes them happy. It puts a smile on their face. What people don't realize, we just don't stay at the school. Our jobs are outside of the schools as well. I can speak for most school resource deputies that we do get calls on our off times. We do get calls from parents. We do get calls to participate in different events throughout the school year. So our job just doesn't stop at 5 o'clock or when the doors of the school close.
And that's why our school resource deputies are also known as hallway heroes. To learn more about ways to become an SRD and their roles in the community, visit our website, leoncountyso.com. I'm Angela Sherrod for Leon County Today.
Start your new career as a corrections officer at one of the state's most innovative agencies, the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
When I left the academy, my training never stopped.
Work with state-of-the-art technology.
You can make a lot of money at a very young age.
Starting pay is $50,000 a year with amazing benefits.
Firearms, taser, driving training.
A better work-life balance with more time off.
They're going to sponsor you through the academy and pay you while you're there.
Join the family. Apply today at leoncountyso.com.
Download the Leon County Sheriff's Office mobile app right now. Our mobile app makes it easier than ever to report a crime and get important safety alerts. You can also see who's been booked at the Leon County Detention Facility and follow reported crimes in your neighborhood, all in one convenient location in the palm of your hands. Download LCSO Connect right now. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play by searching LCSO Connect.
Welcome back, Sheriff. We have about 2 minutes, but I did want to get in the question because on the public information side, we do get inquiries from the public saying that they hear our helicopters out and about. And I'm nosy. I'll run outside when I hear stuff. It's not always our helicopter.
That's true. And there are several helicopter providers in our community, a helicopter from the hospital and others. But here's the thing the citizens should know. If you, in fact, do hear a helicopter out there, call us at the time you're seeing it, and we will verify whether it's our helicopter or not. If it is a helicopter, you can be assured that we're there because we're trying to find somebody involved in a crime, and perhaps we're trying to help your neighbor who may have been victimized by a crime. But please give us a call, and we will explain exactly why we're there. But please keep in mind that there are others out there with helicopters as well, and 90% of the time, it's not the Leon County Sheriff's Office. We operate a lot higher than most helicopter operators do.
And that technology allows us to be able to do that. So
absolutely.
Technology works, trust me. Also, you know, we have Shalonda Scott on, who's in the middle schools, and I know we're in that back to school realm too. The challenge is now, I think we're about a month or so into school, we're just seeing different stuff, but it's cool and calm and collective, and I think, you know, just pushing that narrative of you have to get to know your SRD is still major.
Yeah, we are absolutely pushing this year for our school resource deputies to learn every child they possibly can. One of the things we're very concerned about is the stuff that takes place at our schools that are sometimes dangerous, and the best way we can combat that is to have relationships with our students and relationship from the students to our resource deputies. And I'll tell you, there's nothing better than having that kind of relationship where you know who you're talking to, and our deputies can be trusted, and we trust those students out there and the parents. We want to let the parents know that our deputies are going to be in the schools and they're going to be extremely visible this school year.
All right. Well, a lot of information today. If you have any questions about anything that we talked about today, and that number to call and report if you think you're here in our helicopter, you can find those resources on our website. That's www.leoncountyso.com. We'll see you right back here next week.